Good afternoon from AlphaCars. My name is Tom, coming to you from our Northampton location, and today we're going to be taking a look at this 2024 BMW 430i Gran Coupe. This 430i is currently showing just over 20,000 original miles, and if you would like to see a high-resolution detailed photo set, please reference the listing at alphacars.com. There, of course, you will also find a free included Carfax report, alongside a long list of technical data related to the vehicle's remaining tire and brake life, as well as individual readings from each panel using our paint depth gauge. But today I'll be taking you on a quick condition overview around both the interior and the exterior, as well as showing you some of the more notable features. So first thing to see on the outside is this beautiful metallic white paint scheme, and as I approach the vehicle, it recognizes me being in its proximity and opens up the door locks for me, which is a lovely feature. But as you can see, the paint is in factory fresh condition, absolutely stunning. Very few, if any, imperfections to note in the paint. But as always, I still like to go really close to the panel, looking for any dings, dents, or scratches. Making our way really close to the body down the driver's side, and you'll see all the way to the rear, absolutely nothing amiss here on the driver's side. Now, looking at the wheels, a beautiful split 5-spoke design with that two-tone finish of metallic gray and that machined outer face. Beautiful condition. Zero major imperfections, though at 9 and 3 I do see a couple of very small marks. We'll let this truck pass. And then next here at the front we have another wheel in very good condition. Similar condition to the rear. Now, taking a look here at the front fascia, of course this is BMW's updated front end design for the 4 Series. And you can see as I back away from the vehicle a bit further, it's locked as if I were walking away from it, so that's cool. You may hear that beep a couple of times. But looking on the front fascia, very, very cool design. You can see as opposed to what is usually a kind of satin silver or a black finish, we do have a fully chromed outline on those grills in the center. Headlights are a really cool design and some really sharp body lines accentuated by that metallic paint. But you can see few, if any, imperfections to note anywhere here on the front fascia. Now, before we make our way down the side of the vehicle, taking a look at that front wheel in excellent condition. And then you'll note as I get close to the vehicle, it'll likely unlock again for us. But I will back down the passenger side of the vehicle, looking for any dings, dents, or scratches, but none to be found here on this side either. And lastly, we have one more wheel in very nice condition here at the back. So finally, taking a look at the rear of the vehicle, very, very nice taillight design. I love this almost sort of swoosh check mark for the red portion of the brake lights. They look very nice, and you can see the lenses are crystal clear, not showing any signs of oxidation or discoloration there. You can see the xDrive badge, as this vehicle is fitted with all-wheel drive, which is almost essential for New England roads nowadays. And you can see the 430i badge finished in chrome. The only imperfection here at the back are these scuffs there just to the left of your BMW roundel, and a very small imperfection at the center of the bumper cover. But just beneath that, you'll find those 2 silver exhaust outlets, which look lovely. So now, approaching the vehicle, you just heard it unlock for me, which is very nice. Opening these door handles, which are flush to the vehicle and raise up like so. We open up the door to a lovely interior pairing with that white exterior and the cognac interior. Really nice color. And condition-wise, this driver's seat is absolutely perfect. So making my way inside. It is extremely hot today, so I'll waste no time in firing it up using the start-stop button just there. I'll close this door up. Climate control comes to life, fortunately, so we'll explore that center screen in a moment. But taking a look just ahead of me here, steering wheel is a lovely design, and all of your switches are in perfect shape. I will turn down the blower motor just a bit to make it easier to hear. There we go. So, steering wheel, perfect condition. You can see it also comes fitted with a heated steering wheel from the factory, which is a great touch. However, I will not be using it today as it is quite hot. So, looking around the gauge cluster, there's actually quite a bit you could go over on this gauge cluster, but we'll start with the basics. As you can see here, we're in the comfort display mode, so the traditional gauge cluster that you'll usually see when you start the vehicle. If I throw it to the Eco Pro, you see a bit more of a blue tint to the gauge cluster, and you get some more economy information. Back to my comfort, and then our sports setting closes everything up nice, bit more racy, bright whites and reds throughout. But we'll go back to the Comfort traditional gauge cluster to show you a couple of cool features. Now, using this switch, this little menu switch there, and the silver switch just above, you can control just about every aspect of the gauge cluster. So one touch here, I can select what content I would like displayed in the center. There are tons of different options you can see. I like the full navigation display as well. That's a pretty cool touch. Compass, your economy info. As you can see, it's all very responsive, very cool. But if we go all the way back up, actually for demonstration purposes, I'll throw up the navigation display just there. Now, if I move over to the layout, I can select this wide gauge cluster, or I can narrow it down a bit. Oh, pardon me, selected a different one. I can make this sort of interesting checkmark minimalist gauge cluster, go back to where we were, or close it up like our sport display. So it's very cool that you can customize just about every aspect of the gauge cluster to your liking. I'm a big fan of any sort of customization, and we know BMW loves to take advantage of that. Now, looking here at my center screen, I'll throw up a nicer zoom for you. So before we go and explore that, as I showed you before, changing the gauge cluster with the drive modes also displays these really beautiful welcome screens to each menu. So we have your Eco, we have your Comfort, and then our Sport, which is my personal favorite. One more touch puts you in Sport Individual, which you can change and configure every single aspect of the vehicle to your liking. For now, we'll leave it in Comfort though. Very, very cool. So looking here at the home screen display, tons of different apps and screens to give you any information you're looking for. Of course, you have your full color navigation display. We'll see when I open that up. But I can also select anything else. You can see my full weather app, which is lovely. And then my BMW, I configured this so that it shows you a brief check. Make sure you can see your tire pressure, your engine, no strange warnings on any aspect of the vehicle. So that's a really cool feature to have right there on your home screen. And you can add just about anything else. You can see your main app screen, just how much there is to look at in the vehicle. This is not all of it either. If I go left here, we can access all apps and see a tremendous amount of features within the infotainment system, and it keeps going and going. So that's very cool stuff. One nice thing to see is your climate menu. As you can see, very easy to operate, heated seats in the front, and very easily understood controls. I also love that you can schedule when you shut off the vehicle. You can schedule, let's say you go to work at 8 a.m. That's when you leave for work. You can tell your car, hey, at 7:45 or 7:50, I'd like you to fire up, start getting the cabin to the desired temperature, and the vehicle will schedule and do that for you automatically, which is a really cool function. I just tried it before we started the video here. Lastly, here in the center screen, we'll just show you that reverse camera, nice and high quality as you would expect. And we'll back up to the home screen. So looking a bit further down here, we have our center climate control vents with that beautiful silver trim, a nice minimal media control center here, as well as your defrosters. And that moves us onto this little control stack here in the middle. One touch opens up this center console cup holder area with some storage just behind and charging outlets all over, which is great. Looking a bit further back, of course, your basic controls with your start-stop button, your drive mode selector, your gear selector, which has a really nice click as you use it, which I love. And then your infotainment controller, which runs everything on this screen. Just behind that, you have this lovely center console armrest, which is massive. And above my head, a nice big sunroof, which can fully open, it can tilt open, and you can close up this sunshade if it gets a bit too bright. And you can see that functions exactly as it should. So before we move on to the second row of seats, I'm going to take a quick look under the hood and show you what powers the 430i. I'll meet you there. All right, so now we're here under the hood of the 430i. Taking a look around, as you would expect, being so new with so few miles, it is extremely clean under here. All the way around the perimeter of the engine bay, everything looks great. All of your reservoirs are in perfect shape. All of your little intricate connections that you see there. All of your intricate mechanical bits like your hood latch, not a single whiff of rust or anything of that nature, as you'd expect, but it is good to see it. Looking here at the engine cover, shining beautifully. Looking down the side of the motor, it's all extremely clean down there as well. This car looks like it was hardly ever used. So the engine that we're working with here on the 430i is BMW's 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. BMW has put a ton of resources into making just a fantastic 4-cylinder engine that still delivers a proper BMW driving experience. So this engine produces 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. Paired to a very quick, very snappy transmission, it provides all of the driving excitement that you'd expect from a BMW, but also there is a major focus on refinement. I'm going to give this one extra push to close this hood properly. And that will bring us to the second row of seats. As we open up, you can see rear seat condition is absolutely perfect. Door cards with some lovely materials there. It looks very thin or very narrow when you get in, or when you're looking in, but when you get in, you actually find there's quite a bit of legroom. Now, keep in mind, I'm 6'4". That is where I would comfortably take the vehicle for a drive, and I can sit here comfortably. It's a bit tight on headroom for me, but I am, again, rather tall. But as you can see, good headroom and legroom here in the back. Climate control here in the back is nice to have your adjustment for your third zone, as well as 2 USB-C fast charging outlets and your vents there. Just in the middle, nice drop down armrest with those flip open cup holders. And then that stows away nicely. So finally, we'll take a look at the cargo area here in the back of the vehicle. Now, being a Gran Coupe, it's not a traditional trunk, as you might expect. It's actually an entire hatch, which lifts up, taking the cargo cover with it, which is of course removable, but it reveals a very big cargo area here at the back. We have this nice rubber mat protecting the carpet of the floor of the trunk. We also have all of your carpeting. The passenger carpet is under here, and we have your all-weather mats for the front occupants. And then with one touch operation, it's going to drop down this trunk nice and soft as it latches into place. So if you have any further questions related to this 2024 BMW 430i Gran Coupe, please reference the listing at alphacars.com, and there you'll find all of the relevant contact information. Thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day. We hope to hear from you soon. Thank you from AlphaCars.